Welcome to SST Zone. Students, today in this video we are going to start our next chapter, which is Interior of the Earth. In this chapter we will study about the introduction of this chapter, in which we will cover the sources of information about the interior of the Earth. We will also study about the earthquake, types of earthquake, and the effects of earthquake. After that, we will study the structure of the earth, in which we will know about the crust, mantle, and core. Then after that, we will start the volcanoes and the volcanic landforms, which is the most important part of this chapter. So students, today we will see the introduction and the sources of the interior of the earth, in which we are going to cover importance of the study of the interior of the earth and sources of information about the interior, in which we will study two sources, the direct sources and indirect sources. In the indirect sources, we will see the density, temperature, pressure, and earthquake. Students, studying the interior and exterior structure of Earth provides us with a better understanding of Earth, helps us to understanding of earthquakes, volcanoes, plate tectonics, how the atmosphere formed, and to study Earth's magnetic field. Why it is important of study of the interior of the Earth? The solid surface we live on it largely a product of the process operating in the interior of the Earth. Exogenic as well as endogenic processes are constantly shaping the landscape. Human life is fluented by these processes. To understand why the earth shakes or how a tsunami wave is generated, it is necessary that we know some details of the interior of the earth. The earth's radius is 6,370 km. No one can reach the center of the earth and make observation or collect sample of the material. Under such conditions, you may wonder how scientists tell us about the Earth's interior and the type of material that exists at such depth. Most of our knowledge about the interior of the Earth is based on indirect methods. Some parts of the information is obtained through direct observation and analysis of the material. So now we will see what are these direct and indirect sources. So first of all, direct sources. Direct sources include rock materials from mining areas and molten magma from volcanic eruptions. Besides, scientists are working on deep ocean drilling project and integrated ocean drilling project. Mining, drilling, and volcanic eruption are examples of direct sources. During the process of mining and drilling, rocks and minerals are extracted, which gives information that there are layer system in the crust. Crust is made of many kinds of rocks and minerals. Volcanic eruption suggests that there is some zone inside the earth which is very hot and in liquid condition. Direct sources are not very reliable because mining and drilling can be done only up to some depth. The deepest drill at Kola in Arctic Ocean has so far reached a depth of 12 km. This and many deep drilling projects have provided large volume of information through the analysis of materials collected at different depths. Number 2. Indirect sources. Seismic waves, gravitational field, magnetic field. Meteors are example of indirect sources. They are very important for know about Earth's interior. Movement of seismic wave suggested that there are three layers in the Earth and each layer has different density increased towards the center of the Earth. Movement of seismic wave suggests two things. There are three layers in the Earth and each layer has different density which increases toward the center of the Earth. Thus, provide information about the distribution of materials in the part. Seismic activity is one of the most important source of information about the interior of the Earth. Hence, we shall discuss it in some detail. Earthquake. An earthquake is a sudden violent shaking of the ground, typically causing great destruction as a result of movements within the Earth's crust or volcanic action. In other words, it is a natural event. It is caused due to release of energy which generates waves that travel in all directions. But why does the earth shake? The release of energy occurs along a fault. A fault is a sharp break in the crustal rocks. Rocks along a fault tends to move in opposite directions. As the overlying rock start press them, the friction locks them together. However, their tendency to move apart at some point of time overcomes the friction. Rocks along the fault tend to move in opposite directions. As the overlying strata press them, the friction locks them together. They slide over another. As a result, energy releases. Energy waves travel in all directions. The point where energy releases is called focus. Above the focus point on the surface, it is called epicenter. What is focus? The point inside the interior of the earth from where the whole earthquake energy is released is called focus. And the epicenter, the place which experiences the seismic waves first, is called the epicenter of the earthquake. What are the earthquake waves? Earthquakes take place in the lithosphere. Lithosphere refers to portion up to 200 km deep from the surface of the earth. There are two types of earthquake waves: body waves and surface waves. Body waves are generated due to the release of energy at the focus. They radiate and move in all directions from the point of focus or hypocenter and travel through the body of the earth. Hence, the name body waves. The body waves interact with the surface rocks and generate new set of waves called surface waves, which move along the surface of the earth. When earthquake occurs, three types of waves are produced called as seismic waves. These are P or primary waves, S or secondary waves, and L or long or surface waves. P and S waves are combinedly called as body waves, as they move inside the body of the earth. First, P waves. These are earthquake waves known as primary waves. They are longitudinal waves. The direction of movement and direction of oscillation, which we can say swinging, is the same. They can travel in solid, liquid, and gaseous media. Number 2, S waves or secondary waves. These are transverse waves. Their direction of travel is at right angles to the direction of the oscillation. They can travel in solid media only. Number 3, L waves. Long waves. These are surface waves. They do not go deep into the earth. The long waves are the last to report on seismograph. These waves are more destructive. They cause displacement of rocks and hence the collapse of structures occurs. Propagation of earthquake waves. When they travel in the body, they vibrate the bodies of the rocks. P waves vibrate parallel to their direction of the movement. Such zones where earthquakes are not recorded are called shadow zone. A zone between 105° to 145° from epicenter is identified as the shadow zone for both the types of waves. The emergence of shadow zone. Where earthquake waves are not reported, such zones are called earthquake shadow zones. It is observed that seismographs located beyond 103° from the epicenter do not record the earthquakes. The entire zone beyond 142° do not receive S waves. Seismographs located beyond 142° again record P waves only. The shadow zone of S waves is much larger than the P waves. It is equal to 40% of the Earth's surface. Types of earthquakes. Earthquakes can be classified on the basis of the mode of generation. The most common ones are tectonic earthquakes. These are generated due to sliding of rocks along a fault plane. A special class of tectonic earthquake is recognized as volcanic earthquake. In areas of intensive mining activity, sometimes the roofs collapse, causing minor tremors. These are called collapse earthquakes. Ground shake due to explosion of chemical devices. Such tremors are called explosion earthquakes. The earthquakes that occur in the area of large reservoirs are referred as reservoirs inducted earthquakes. Here are some pictures through which you may know about the different kind of earthquakes, including with them a worldwide destruction due to sea earthquake or tsunami is there. How we can measure the earthquake? The earthquake events are scaled either according to the magnitude or intensity of the shock. The magnitude scale is known as Richter scale. It is a logarithmic scale. The magnitude relates to energy released during the earthquake. The magnitude is measuring in absolute number from 0 to 10. The intensity scale is known as Mercalli scale after the great Italian seismographist Mercalli. The range of this scale is from 1 to 12. Effects of earthquakes. The effects of an earthquake can be devastating. They can destroy settlements, change landscapes, and cause many deaths. There are few effects of the earthquake: ground shaking, damage to dams and reservoirs, fire accidents, destruction to houses and buildings, landslide and tsunami, soil liquefaction, destruction to transport and communication lines. Earthquakes result in the formation of cracks and fissures on the ground formation. As earthquake causes dismantling of buildings, bridges, and other structure at or near epicenter. Earthquake result in the formation of cracks and fissures on the ground formation. Earthquakes originate sea waves called tsunami. Rails are folded, underground wires broken, fire breaks out inevitably in large towns. Few constructive effects of the earthquakes are sometimes the earthquakes causes formation of hot springs which are very useful to people. Sometimes the earthquake causes emergence of coals and bring fertile soil out of water to give change to develop crop production. Submergence of coastal land may result in formation of bays and gulfs, which are favorable sites for the development of port harbors. Students, here we have studied about indirect stores to know about the interior of the earth. In our next video, we will know about the interior of the earth and its part. We will also study about the volcano. So keep watching as a stay tuned.